Welcome back to another episode of the Lions Den podcast. And you see something different. We're going to introduce y'all to the Lioness Den. You know, it's usually we go on the left and you might see my boy Trent on the intro. But right now we going ladies first because we gentlemen. Right. So may I introduce y'all to my first Lioness to my far left.
Hello everyone. I am Ajoke, aka Ajoke the model. I'm excited to be here and have this nice conversation with you all. Thanks for having me.
Yes, for sure. And to my other left.
I'm Game. I don't have a title that I go by per se, but I'm a creative and I'm just here to let God use me.
Amen to that.
You deep already.
Hey, for real. And then to my right.
What's up, baby? It's your boy Trent. You know, speed and love, happiness and peace every day, all day long. It's your boy Trent Falls.
Yes. And it's your boy Germ Zion. And we in for a great episode today. So what I got here today is, you know, in this age, it seems like relationships aren't working how they used to work. We're not seeing a lot of longevity. We're not seeing a lot of family making, a lot of home making. And so I want to get into figuring out why they may be from our personal experiences. So today I want to ask the ladies first because God did not bless me with the experience to be a lady on this earth, you know what I'm saying, this time around. So I want to ask y'all, what are the differences that you see in women of today in comparison in the past, in your opinion? And take your time, because this is real life.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see. I can start with that a little bit because I kind of have an interesting observation that I've noticed. And you let me know if you guys have kind of peeped this too, right? So being someone that respects my elders and I really do like talk to a lot of people that are still way older than me in age, and I like to keep that relationship with older people in general for guidance purposes. I feel like a lot of new age millenniums or like all our age mates, we don't have a certain reverence for the elderly as much. Like, I know not all older people are wise, but I mean not all older people are not wise, and not all of them don't have something to offer. And I think I've been someone who's been advocating for more spaces where we could sit down and talk to elderly people, you know, because I don't know if y'all ever see like these things that go viral on social media where it's like an old person and they're holding a board and it like has their age and then it has like one advice, or like the ones where they go around with the interviews and they're like interviewing older people. These are mothers, these are grandmothers, and they have so much to say in terms of like regrets, in terms of lessons. And I feel like we just don't really, because we're so like we know it all, we don't give enough like reverence to what we don't know and what like the people that came before us might know, you know, which in turn can solve a lot of our relationship issues. So I'll start there. I'll say like that's something I've observed.
Okay, for sure. How would you build on that, Jamie?
Honestly, I'm going to speak from just my own experience. I can relate to that definitely. You know, not being hyper independent. I think that just the society that we're in now definitely promotes hyper independence for women. So I think that it's not a bad thing intrinsically to be independent, and you know, women have come very far, but I think we've crossed a point in society where it's now becoming a detriment to women.
Just ghetto. Just call it what it is. It's ghetto. When we said we wanted equality, we did not mean we wanted to be the same person. We're not the same people. Men and women are never going to be the same. We don't have the same genetic makeup. So when we talk about equality, we don't mean, oh, I want to be able to lift a freaking trailer because he can lift the trailer. Like, you got it, homie. You can lift the trailer, and I don't mind playing whatever role I fit in. I just want to be able to have a role, and I want my role to be just as valid, just as important, just as recognized as your role.
That's real.
It doesn't have to be your role, because I'm not here to step on toes. And I think in feminism, we made it a battle of like stepping on toes, and it was never that. I mean, at least for me, and I think for, like I said, the older women in my life, it was never that. They still taught me softness. They still taught me like how you do need a man. They still taught me like how to respect a man, how to pour into a man, how to build a man up.
Yeah.
They taught you all of those things because the other things you were gonna go into. You were gonna have that hyper independence because the generation we're living in, we know it's common. You know, you were gonna have that because they didn't want you to go and be at the hands of the wrong man, be at the mercy of the wrong person who wouldn't pour into that. You know, everybody wants to see greatness for their children, so it's like I'm not gonna just leave you unequipped. So yes, I need you to be independent, maybe a little hyper because the world is crazy and they're not gonna look out for you like you think.
And it's crazy that you say, because like I would say that, which what both of y'all represented, one, you speaking on the hyper independence, then you speaking on the not really respecting the elders. We seeing that from our end exactly how y'all explaining it. it's like one,
like as men,
one, like
okay,
first of all, if you know what
Tell
I'm
me
saying,
more.
like if I was to, you know, personally my situation, my Duke's passed, RIP, but either way, I know I couldn't be confident introducing a lot of these women to my Dukes anyway, in the sense of they don't have that same respect of if they would see my cooking in the kitchen, like, hey, can I help? You know what I'm saying? Asking those simple questions. Or even the fact of like when you're in a public place, even if you're like with family, right? You're around family. A lot of times, I shouldn't have to move from the table, as in the sense where, okay, what do you want? I'm gonna go get your plate. And I've experienced it, you know what I mean? She came with other issues, but but like I said, it's the cues though. It's the cues of that old same thing when women ask for that chivalry from us. There's a version of women's chivalry. I don't know on your end, Trent.
We can go deep because there's so much to unpack, man. From the evolution of like what feminism is versus like evolution of what masculinity is. Even tell like how we evolve relationships. Like we look like we talked about in the last one, like the way our grandpops used to move. But if we talk about now, like even in a relationship, right? Like the way grandparents or the older generation moves is almost like a sense of loyalty, but also we gotta add the factors into it now. We're in a digital age where it's so easy to meet different people outside. You know what I mean? If you look back in the day, if you look at like, so for instance, I'll be honest, I come from a family where like my mom and dad been together since middle school. My grandparents, they've been together for a long time. And they still have their issues, like, ain't been perfect. Like, I got a brother, got a different dad. You do the math, they've been together since middle school. You know what I mean? So they have their issues, but one thing I think back in the day, not only they have loyalty, but communication as well too. So for me, like, when I bring a shawty home, I'm like, oh, it's a lot of pressure. Like, just because, like, coming from where I come from, and they're gonna pick up on them cues, like, okay, you're not communicating like this, or you're not loyal like this. But I had a conversation with my mom about it. I said, but the times changed.
Right.
Like, we may not communicate like y'all because you might be texting all the time. Yeah. So I think it really goes back to what y'all saying. Like, it's, of course, like, wisdom and, like, our old generation. Also, too, like, feminism, masculinity, like, we still gotta respect who we are, but we also gotta say it's also something ever changing. It's evolving day by day.
Well then, so leaving off of that, if the times have changed and we're evolving, if you will, what we say that specifically for the ladies, you know what I'm saying? Do y'all feel as though y'all quality of life has changed? Like, is this the type of time that y'all want? Like, do y'all like what y'all living in? Do y'all feel as though y'all have been liberated? Y'all feel like, oh, this is the best.
Before they answer, they gotta flip that, bro.
Oh yeah,
has to get real. This about to get real. This is about to get real. Let's do it.
It's the real flip. It's the real flip.
That's the real flip, guys.
Let's get to it.
All right.
Okay.
You want to start? Start.
Okay. I will say that my quality of life is good because I have the ability to do what I need to do to get things done, you know, as opposed to in the past, you know, women didn't have certain opportunities that they have now. However, I think with that, but I'm getting tired. You know, there's a point you reach, especially, and I think being honest about that as a woman is really important. Like, I'm not supposed to be doing these things. Some things I'm not supposed to be doing.
I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm not.
Like
somebody else to do
like,
it.
Right, get somebody else. I'm even dealing with that right now in my current situation. I'm like, Lord, like, I need a rest. I need to sit here. And it's not to say that men and women, we need rest. Period. As beings that God created, we need rest.
That's good.
Like, He created rest. And for as a woman, like, what does that look like? And I think being honest about where we've come as a society, and going back again, I bring everything back to God, going back to biblical values. Even, you know, what is rest? What does rest look like? It's not just sleeping. It's, you know, mentally grounding yourself, mentally finding time to reconnect with God, finding time to just be. Instead of all these titles that we have and we try to wear, I'm telling you, I've had to tell myself a few times now, like, God, man, you're more than the leader at that company. You're more than, you know, this or that. Like, at the end of the day, I'm a daughter.
Sheesh.
That part.
I'm a daughter.
A princess.
Sheesh.
And you know what a daughter needs most? Her father. Okay? Baby, because let me say something. Now, the way I'm set up, I've always, like, grappled with that same idea. Even in the real world, and this is why when they say, like, women, don't make yourself small in the world, like, the world will open itself up. Just continue to believe what you believe. It'll work out. Like, they'll begin to start seeing what I'm saying. And I know that's something that's across the board for a lot of women, because I could say collectively as a whole, we are tired. And I also feel like collectively as a whole, we have so much more we want to do.
Yes.
But we need that break. You know how they be like, oh, America, we don't need a president for at least 4 years. We can take a little break, and then we can run it back. You know, like, let's just see how we do without.
Yeah.
That's almost how I feel about, like, the black women. Let's just see how we do without, like, not giving all our energy to something. Or maybe we just sit in a space of just, like, planning. A season of just, like, writing stuff down.
Yes.
Where, like, it's not about executing. It's not about competing. Because we're in this cycle, well, at least what I've seen with us, where it's like, I could honestly say women are living their best lives right now, right? Money-wise, travel-wise, freedom-wise, friendship-wise. We're leaning into faith. We're having more communion, more community. So you're having that type of, like, sisterhood where you can lean on. You got friends you can talk to now. Y'all can both match each other. We're fighting to pay bills. I could say we're doing certain things where even a lot of us are free in the sense of we're leaning into that entrepreneurial side of us. We're no longer employees. We're breaking free from certain generational curses, right? We're having all these wins, but also we're still suffering internally. And we're still suffering in private and in quiet and, like, closed doors. And I'm someone that, because of my background in psychology, I've always loved to see beyond what you show and, like, really understand what it is that is making us, like, hide those parts of us, right? And I think it's an expectation mentality, like how we show up. If you were a mother, like, you think about, like, when your mom was raising you, every single day you had to get ready for school. Don't think every single day looked the same for her. However, you're not gonna know because she's showing up, she's performing. She's literally just trying to do what she thinks that you need to see, which I think a lot of us are doing in workplaces, even in friendships. And we're not allowing ourselves the ability to really just fall apart and be ourselves all the way. And it's hard, but when you find those people that kind of feel like that safe space, like what this is, you can almost be like, okay, let's just be real honest. Like, to your point, I'm a child of God as well, and I don't want to let the pressure of the world make me feel like I'm a child of the world. Like, there's so much more things that I just don't want to have to deal with. And it's like, my father would not make me have to deal with this. You know what I mean? And we just put that pressure on ourselves. It's like, oh, I gotta save the day. I gotta be Superman, Superwoman. And it's just like, no, that's God.
Jeez. And how that transfers to us on our end, I'm gonna speak for me specifically. What I've seen is I'm very energetically in tune, and so it's like, you know, when it comes to women, sometimes a lot of times I've been a safe space. I've been a place to where they can get in my presence and just where it's like, because and even there's psychology on the fact where it's like, where when women are around men, their brain naturally shuts off and just starts to be like, and so, like, some dudes that don't know, like some dudes that don't know, that's not on game, when she asks, when it's time to go eat, you know what I'm saying, don't ask her which she wants to go eat. It's your choice. You gotta go. And even if she don't want it, you take her there. And then that's a part of also be the bed, is saying, like, hey, look, well, we're going here, so you're gonna have to find something on me. If not there, guess what? Maybe on the way, but we're not about to do this back and forth. You know what I mean? Like, this is where we're going. It's okay. Once she starts trusting that, it's not even gonna be a question.
That's good.
And my thing is, on our part, some of us men have become feminized by really believing in y'all sometimes when y'all like, no, we're going this way, we're doing this, we're making this decision. And her not knowing that it's like a part of being able to live that soft life is having a man that's ready to make that decision and say, no, we're going here. And this is what's happening. This is the last step. There's not any further more communication. And so for us, you know, personally, when we feel that first like buck, like I feel like now naturally the women of today naturally buck at you first. Where it's like jail or something. Like they gotta test your gangster. Like they're like, you know what, bro, been in here for about 2 weeks. Let's test his gangster. Let's see what's y'all. And so like women have that like motive now where I feel like they have the urge to test your gangster. Where I like, you know, back then I don't feel like that urge was as much, but I'm speaking from present, so I don't really care too much about that. But that's what I've seen in my eyes. How about you?
I can really just go based off my experience, bro. And you know me, I'm always transparent.
For sure.
So, I'll be honest, I experienced that with my ex-fiance. If you watching this, you already know what it is. But we experienced was like, we met quick. But I looked, I was like, yo, you're extremely masculine. Like, you are beating me up.
Oh,
and
my God.
like, that's what it was. But then, like, I realized, like, we had some intimate moments, like, even before sex ruined it. Like, I'll go out there, put our business out there. But like, we had intimate moments of having sex, and I realized like that masculinity is breaking off. And I'm like, that's what it is. Because most of the times, and y'all can let me know if I'm wrong, has conversation, is they have to operate in a masculine space because as men we ain't stepped up to the plate. So we're experiencing a lot of that energy because we lost that. And I look back in my relationship. I mean, I called it off. She watched this from me in the comments. I called it off. But I called it off because one, it was rocky, but also I started realizing my flaws as well too. So to answer that question, like you were saying, man, a lot of men, even myself, we know how to get vision. You know what I mean? So like we're in a relationship, she come like, okay, we rocking this, you cool, you follow my arms with where we going. And I'm like, dang, you know, we at the crib. Yeah. So like even biblically, I'll pass it and let y'all have it. Like we talked about it last time, like Adam and Eve, Adam was asleep, Eve get pulled out, he wakes up like, yo, you're my helpmate. He gave her vision. And I think a lot of times in relationships, we can't get vision as men and we fall short. Just speaking from experience.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback off of that. Vision is so important for men to have because, again, women, we're not trying to figure everything out. We want to, we want to have something that we can follow. We're here to, I mean, the Bible says, like, we were created to help. And not just help to be like a maid or a servant, but we have our own power in helping and being that assisting quality or having that assisting quality. So we're naturally looking for something to follow. And I think some people, men and women, don't know that or don't understand the value of those roles. So then we fall into the masculine and we're bucking, trying to test people's gates that, you know, become masculine. And it's like, oh, what are you doing? Like this. But we don't even, until we fall back and honestly humble ourselves just as people. We don't understand that we're operating in that. And so, but in heads all the time, you know, why are you acting so masculine? Well, you're acting feminine. What am I supposed to do? Like, and then I don't know my role as a woman. You don't know your role as a man. So everybody's confused.
Everybody's confused.
It's exhausting on both ends. Then we're both tired and nothing's getting done.
What makes a man a man?
I'm gonna say the ability to have vision, carry it, but I think to carry it with a level of grace, a level of humility and respect. Not to be like, okay, I'm a man, so you gotta do what I say. But no, I'm a man, so I'm here to cultivate a space for you to do.
That's good.
As a woman. And I'm here for
that
you.
Part.
Right. I'm here to elevate you because you're my queen. Let's do this together. I understand my role. And because I understand, like this, knowing, okay, you can know the role, but do you comprehend your role in order to cultivate that space for that right woman to be there and grow in her role, be that woman. Like, there's so much.
Yeah. Like, I feel like as a man, aside from your ability to look at yourself, and really, you need to really look at yourself. That's the first job. Because, you know, like the Bible always says, let he who has never sinned cast the first stone. Or there's a lot of stuff where it's like, if you want to take the wool out of someone else's eyes, you can look at the wool on your own eye. There's all of those, like, parables. And as a Nigerian daughter, shout out to the Nigerian parents, they love to give you parables, like, to kind of explain certain things, which is why I said that thing about the whole elder thing as well, because once again, if we're looking at a lot of men that didn't have that guidance, that didn't have that, hey, young man, this is how you talk to the ladies. Like, we're not saying there's a lot of things that we're going through that's new. Okay?
That's true.
Grandpa sometimes was having another wife. There was cheating. There was a lot of, however, the harmoniousness of it and the sticking beside each other through it all, like that relentless, unconditional love, it's fading in the sense of like we aren't really looking at ourselves. We're so busy worried about what someone else is doing, how you walk, how you move, how you talk, what about you? What about me?
Yeah.
Like coming from that whole like aggressive masculine, I consider myself someone who operated in a masculine energy for a really long time. And I was in high school, like, first of all, because of the family I had, because of the people that were in my life, because of the things I saw, I knew what I wasn't gonna deal with when it came to a man. I just knew. Because one, you saw it, okay?
Right.
You could either have the footballer that was still cheating on you, and then it's like, you're the prettiest girl, why is this man still cheating on you? You don't even know. I couldn't comprehend it for her, therefore I couldn't see it for myself.
That's good.
Because I knew that I was okay, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. So I was gonna take my time to myself. But I was definitely one of those girls where it was like, oh yeah, let me test your gangster. Because don't think that since you are the man, you're not gonna do some introspection, or I'm not gonna challenge you. I will. And sometimes in challenging another man, especially when you are a woman that's already operating in this masculine energy, which is like the world is already a hard place for you. You're already navigating, you're already doing things on your own. And for me, I had a journal where like I would write a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of my dreams. And a man read it and he was like, you have nothing in you about a man. Like you have no focus, no like, not even a description of what this man looks like. And I was like, well, it's not that I don't have a desire for this partner or this person. It's just that I'm just so busy focusing and doing the work on myself, where it's like, if this person were to come, I almost know that I'm choosing them. Even if they were like, oh, I'm trying to talk to you, I still know I'm choosing them because I know this is the plan I have. Like you were saying, you want somebody that has a plan, that can follow the mission. If I know, okay, I want to be a business owner, I want this, I want that, I want to do this, I want to do that. The person that I'm going to gravitate towards, which could go into a relationship and how we choose our people, the person I want to gravitate towards should match that. They should already give me examples that they could actually lead the plan. They could follow this mission to the end. It's like, oh, I want to be a successful entrepreneur. This man gives someone that literally could write my business plan for me in 24 hours. So I'm going to follow that. I'm not going to follow Jimmy from next door just because he likes me. I'm not. Because I've done the work and I know myself. So it's like, I wouldn't have to be in this masculine space if I gave myself to someone that literally helped me become feminine. Like if I knew I wanted to be a masculine person, I wanted to work, I wanted to pay the bills, I'd get a masculine man. Someone who would come home and cook for me and clean and all of that, and he wouldn't have no problem feeling, inferior to that, and we'd work. But if I knew I wanted to not pay a bill, I wanted to not come home all the time and be stressed out about bill but then work, I would get a man that's like a problem solver, that's gonna come and be like, okay, you can relax in this area, I'll handle it. Or okay, what's the problem with this, how can we solve it? And you'll get feedback, because people around you will tell you, me, gangster, a joker that's always giving masculine, that's always telling the boys what. When I finally talk to someone that I like, you notice, oh, this girl just submitted.
Yeah,
oh, you didn't think so? Because it's not I'm not meant to submit to everybody. Not everybody's meant to lead you. Not everybody's meant to be someone that deserves your respect. You can give, a nice high and by. You can be peaceful, cordial. You do not have to give every single man what you are holding for someone that's special, someone that's important, someone that solves and answers a lot of those questions.
Oh, you gotta say that one part again. You can't submit to everybody.
You can't.
That's
The secret, like I genuinely have been thinking about this for so long, because I'm like, okay, if women today that are successful, that have everything, that they are bosses, I mean, they got their own crib, their own car, you got your degree, you're still studying more. What is it? What is the difference between everything you've accomplished and what it is that you want and you're not receiving? What are you opening yourself to? What are you allowing? Like, shut the door on everything that does not make sense with everything you've accomplished. You know you got a house. You know you got a car. You know you got a job. You know you busy. You know you want somebody that's gonna pay for your nails. And so anything that's not that, it shouldn't be a focus. And if you see something that is what you want, go for it. Women, I'm just saying, the reason why I feel like I'm the way I am and I can get that masculine energy, but I can be so feminine is because when I need the masculine, it's to give me like courage. Sometimes it's to give me the ability to say, oh, I can walk up to a man and I can say, you know what, you're the type of man I want to marry. So what's up? Because what I'm not going to do is wait for this Ricky Dicky Tom to walk up to me and say, I'm the girl he wants to marry, and I'm going to believe that crap. And now I'm sitting here, my head on a swivel, because this man just told me a bunch of lies, but the actions don't match. And I'm just waiting. Oh, maybe it'll work out. Oh, maybe it'll... No, you saw it.
Hello.
You knew.
Hello. And see, this is the thing. So from a man's perspective, I'm gonna go like deep into introspective. From my experience, I've had the blessing to be able to obtain the women that I wanted, throughout my life. And as I've done that, I've realized, okay, cool. Those were times to learn. And I got to learn about the woman. I got to learn about what's going on, all these type of things, right? But then I've had a separation to where it took for me to really lock in with, I don't know everybody's beliefs, you know what I'm saying, through this, but God is the way. In the sense of, when it goes God, then man, then woman, then child. And there's a reason behind that, because I gained purpose. And then with purpose, I gained decisiveness. I've gained also the truthful, the honesty part, to where it's like, I've been through the, okay, I'm gonna say what this woman wanted here just so I could get her for a little bit. But I knew I wanted to rent. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of men not being honest, where it's like their whole perspective is, I just want to rent. And how Joke explained, it's different when a woman gives herself to you. When a woman gives herself to you, now this is something that, once again, you still have to be honest about, because now she is seeking upon your leadership. And that's not nothing to take lightly. It's not nothing to play around with. It's not nothing to, just toy around with, because this is the thing. Now when this woman chooses to say, look, I want to give myself to you, you've now been provided someone that can multiply what you have, what you're doing. So you have to be in line, focused to actually have something for her to multiply. When you talk about a woman's womb, what does it do? It multiplies. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it's hard for a man to just go, if you just look into, that short term living for women, I'm gonna have to argue that you don't have a purpose. And you're just going about, you're doing what you do. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how much stuff in the world, worldly, that you own. It's about having a bigger purpose than you, that's not of this world, to be able to be gifted and ordained with that leadership, to be able to confidently lead. It's building something from nothing. You know what I mean? And that's something that it also makes me question, for the ladies on y'all end, do you think that the necessity or anything from men has changed that y'all need from us? Or is it still the same old thing?
I just feel like, to your point of like leading, like leading just to accomplish like a woman as an end goal, I feel like if your whole entire life's purpose, like if you're really living life because you care and love women, or are you really just living life to accomplish everything to be able to acquire a woman? Because, as an African, then my community is gonna not like this one, but there's this thing we all grew up in where it was just an exchange. It was very transactional. It was very, I had the money, you would come and you would cook and you would clean and you would not say anything and you would not complain and it'll work out. Which is why we stress this new era of us, saying women have your own thing, do your own thing, so that if it doesn't sit well, if it doesn't align well, you can go. Because the problem is not that we don't want to cater to a man, or we don't want a man that has worked so long and he's built something and now he just wants who wants to come together with someone to now like foster that. That's not the point. The point is your mentality after you start to acquire the woman. Are you just acquiring something, or are you really acquiring a partner? Like, are you acquiring a connection, something that's deeper than what surface level things we talk about, sex? Okay, yeah, procreation, I get it, but do you value having children? Like, yes, we're vessels to have children, but do you want children? Do you want to be a father? Are you going to be excited? Like, if you have really big arching dreams, are you still like focused and determined enough to say, I want a family in conjunction to that, and nothing's gonna stop it, and I'm gonna do everything I need to do to make sure I have that and be that? Are you really gonna show up and do the work? And that's where I'm at, where it's like what I want to see from men, like what we feel like is really lacking: accountability. We always be like, oh, the women are not taking accountability. Yeah. Fine. I, for one, have taken the accountability to say this. I love and respect all men, and I want the best for you. But however, your behavior in this society that is toxic, that is not right, let's talk about it. Let's get you some help. Let's bring it to the front, and let's heal. Let's heal. Let's heal. Let's heal. Cause I'm telling you, you're gonna spill all over. You're just gonna bleed all over your brothers. You're gonna bleed all over the women. You're gonna bleed all over every girl you date, everyone you want to court. You're gonna bleed. And now you're 35, making a reel talking about, I'm 35 with no kids, and you're happy, but you're not. Are you? And that's the secret. Is like, I want to know, how happy are we that we're literally repeating something we've seen our parents go through, and we're not exactly where they were when they were at this age. It looks very different from us, and I wonder, do we see ourselves at 40 being uncles to other people's kids and not having like, is it okay with us? Because if it is, then like, yes. If you can be okay internally and not shit on no one else's dream, not be a hater simultaneously in the corner because you still don't got a man, don't be upset about it. Are you going to really be like, okay, if I don't want this, I'm gonna accept it, I'm gonna grow and be healthy about it. Love everybody else that has it, that wants it, because I want it. I may not sit there and say, oh, I'm boy crazy, but I know I want a husband, I know I want a partner. I don't even know what that man looks like. I have already envisioned the type of, like aura that he might have, the type of things he might focus on, the type of things he don't focus on. Like, I can tell you right now, baby, if you've been on the media about cheating on this person, that person, you're not the person. You're not. Because you're okay with blatantly disrespecting women. You're okay with, there's just certain things you're okay with doing, and there's no accountability. There's no, okay, I really do want to say I apologize to women, and all women too, because not only did I just hurt one of y'all, I hurt all of y'all in doing this to one of y'all, because this, you guys are going to see this and it's going to break you guys. You know how many times I see a lot of women hurting and I hurt for them? Especially the ones that had good men, and the men are just no longer here. It's like, oh, baby, you had a good thing, and I'm sad for you because I wish you to have that. I wish you had that. I'm so sorry that you don't have that anymore, because a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, it's like, that's just where I'm at with men. It's like, just take a little bit more introspection, do the work, and just be like, all right, every time we say men do this, let it not be, oh, but women do that.
Yeah.
Let it be, okay, we do that. If I say men cheat, don't tell me women cheat too. Because, okay, now where's the solution?
Yeah. Would you say that, like, I'm very transparent, that even with everything you said, we've lost what it means to actually heal? Transparency. I'll be honest, I was that guy. Like, out of college, fresh, joined a fraternity, light skin alpha on campus, everything was on me, and I felt that. So, like, I'll be honest, I cheated, I lied, I played games, but in the end goal, there's always a response for your actions. My mom always told me that every decision you make, consequences made. So it was a heavy consequence. Like, I called my if you're watching this, I don't know.
It's
We were at the time. It's all love. You know what I'm saying? It's all love. I couldn't even call it a relationship, a situationship. We've been together about 2 or 3 years on and off. She moved down to Charlotte, and she saw a hickey on my neck, bro. And I'm the type of dude, like, if I ain't gonna lie about it, I'm like, yo, it is what it is. But I did not realize, like, an unhealed me, because I was molested growing up, was just out here just sleeping with everything. It affects somebody. So later on that night, I found her bathtub cutting herself. And I'm like, ooh. So for me, I had to take almost 6 years to heal. And that doesn't mean like every day I'm waking up not having sex. No, I did all that stuff in that healing season. But I had to learn as a man, like, one, accountability, I gotta own it. I wasn't.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, that was me. But in a retrospect, and this is what I believe, in a lot of environments when it comes to dating, it's hard for men to be vulnerable at times. To say like, yo,
That's right.
this is what I grew up with.
Yeah.
So like asking y'all as Lioness, how can a man come to you, still keep the masculine, you know what I'm saying, identity, and be like, yo, this is what I really got going on.
And
this can I heal
before
with.
we get to that, I do want to add into that, because it's like, that's the same kind of like revelation I came to myself. In the sense of, you know, we come from very similar perspectives on that end. Where it's like I was freaked out, you know what I'm saying? I was freaked out, and it's just like my thing was like it was also a thing where, and then on top of that, what added on to it was my experience of watching my mother walk out my life. Yeah. And I'm talking about walk out my life and in her life in the sense when I knew, like, she looked me in my eyes before you leaving me, so it let me figure it out like, oh, women don't got no fit. Like, women is, once she gone, she gone, like, in that sense. So then it set my eyes to be like, you know, a little bit longer, like, okay, I'm just gonna, you know what I'm saying, hit this, tap this, we're gonna do what we're gonna do, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I still had deep emotions invested that I was trying to act like wasn't there, in the sense where it was like, you know what I'm saying, these are all women that I was attracted to, but it was coming from a vision of lust, and it was coming from a vision of, okay, once I conquer this, if you will, then that's supposed to heal something from me, but it just made me more broken. It made me leave more pieces everywhere. And then on top of that, I'm looking at the women that I'm affecting in the midst of it, in a sense where I'm realizing like each one of these women, they did put their life on for me in a sense where they fully entrusted me. I was able to lead them, and I was able to, you know, give them God. I was able to give them experiences that they, you know, were able to enjoy and appreciate, you know, me as their man. But it's like at the same time, I wasn't honest about myself, where I was like, you know, okay, this relationship wasn't gonna go anywhere. Why'd I hit that? in the sense where like it made me want to cut out sex. Well, it did make me cut out sex, period, because it's like now I do look for that more in depth, where it's like, okay, I got goals that really is getting hit. So now I'm in an intimate relationship with God first. And so a part of that is tuned out a lot of the lustful thoughts of me feeling like I need to enter this woman's body, because I don't think for men, as there's a lot of men that speak on the fact where it's like, oh, but you know, ours is outside, so we don't. No, we receive soul ties. We receive the same type of hurt that we may receive entering this woman's body. And not only on top of that, once we enter this woman's body, and if you don't know this woman deep enough, you don't realize that you might wake up and you have some of this woman's demons on you now too. So now you sitting here having thoughts where you're like, what? I don't think like this. I don't think. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She been going through it. And she good. You know what I'm saying? And she look good as a bug, but you know what I'm saying? That morning after, you start sitting, and maybe weeks after, or months after, you know, all this stuff starts trickling you. Maybe bad stuff start happening. And you're like, bro, where did all this come from? And it's because you entered that woman's womb. And it's like, we don't take that as serious as it used to be taken. And my thing is, it's literally, when we say the word sex, it's literally sacred energy exchange. That's what it is. It's very sacred. And so my thing is, amongst that, when we tune in to each woman, realize that you don't have to get to know her through her coochie.
Come on. Say it again, bro.
You don't. That's not getting to know her. That's not getting to figure out. And not only that, you have to be honest and accountable with the woman that you don't have nothing to do with. Okay, just keep it 1,000. Like that's a lot. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. It's a lot. It's not just making sure she's fed. It's not just making sure, none of that. When you take on this woman, that's a lot. So amongst that, as Trent was saying, what do y'all see in the synchronicity of a man meeting a woman that he may appreciate, enjoy? You know what I'm saying? What does it look like to y'all of a healthy version of that expression of being able to now cohabitate and advance with that man?
And before you answer, yo, listen, this is a great question to go into, but we gotta flip that clock right here, and we're gonna come right back to that question, bro.
Wait. Nah, because we are hitting that moment, so y'all might have to tune in for part 2.
That part.
Yeah, so closing down this session, Who I got with me tomorrow, right?
This is your boy Trent, spreading happiness, peace every day of the week. It's your boy Trent Falls.
I know that's right.
Who I got on my father?
This is your girl Ajoke, aka Ajoke the model. You know, your multifaceted queen.
This is Game, and I'm here. Forgot to use me.
Amen, amen. So we're gonna tap in with
Wait,
y'all
bro,
to the
who
next
you?
part. But it's been Jern Zion, and it's another episode of the Lions Den. Tap in with us.
Yes, period. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
That was a good